It's a bird. No, it's a plane. No, it's a plain, funny bannerman. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you could make it for this 11th and very last episode of Red Flag Kona. Not. This time we're going to breach the subject of bad preachers and policemen's kids. It may be a red flag when your pastor's kids are so bad that he has a police substation in his living room. This one is a favorite of mine from the bestseller Daily Red Flag Jokes available through my website www.dailyredflagjoke.com. This story was was inspired by when my wife and I first turned our lives over to the will of God in the year 2000 and began really living. We had smoked nearly $1,000 worth of crack one night, and the next day I didn't even have cigarette money. Funny how different things affect people differently. I was like Red Fox. I asked myself instead of Lamont, "Are you crazy?" That was it for me. I went to a Christian based in house rehab program. I was blessed that my wife came along as it was for females as well. It was a very strict program with a strict pastor in charge. What was so confusing to me that if he was so strict, why was his son going into the men's quarters during our church services and stealing our stuff? That little bad boy was helping himself to our few possessions. There are two other bad little boys that are policemen's kids that come screaming to mind. You guessed it, me and my brother. I won't tell you any of his horror stories because he may get PO'd and I don't want to be involved in a boxing match with my beloved brother. Just saying. I, on the other hand, got some stories. One day, me and my cousin was riding around in our 1955 Buick Special and picked up this girl. Gary was driving and I told him to head for the country. When the girl heard me say that, she began wrestling in an attempt to get out. We were all in the front seat. Just as Gary turned left at the dead end of Main Street, that by the way had fresh gravel on it, I and the girl fell across his lap, pinning his arms to his lap. The car, instead of making the corner, had no choice but to continue straight, tearing through the barbed wire fence and coming to rest completely stuck on high center. I raised up just in time to see us miss a telephone pole by inches. Gary told me he heard me scream at the top of my voice, "Gary!" When the car stopped, the girl jetted, and I didn't see her for a long time after. Duh. Anyway, we tried to dig it out to no avail. My brother-in-law came to help us, and while he was there, an old drunk named Buck happened by and asked us, was anybody peeing under the car? To reassure him, I invited him to come have a look. I don't remember what happened to cause the next series of events, but Bunk had a rifle with him. He ended up drawing down on us two boys. I grabbed the rifle and wrestled it from his grip. He slapped my brother-in-law after my brother-in-law told him that he was a police officer. Yeah, my daddy got him on the force. Anyway, Bunk went to town and came back with the police. By that time, Captain Palmer, my dad, arrived on the scene. It took all the cops on scene to keep my dad from whooping Bunk. We filled out a complaint against Bunk, submitted it to the judge, and Bunk was assessed a whole $1 fine. My dad didn't rest until he was instrumental in getting that judge fired, probably 10 years later. I guess you could say the ripple effect of my bad behavior lasted probably longer than 10 years. This should prove that I am eminently qualified to speak on the subject of bad policemen and pastors' kids. This is Colorado Banner. Good day.